Howdy there. Let me see. So, I guess you'll be pleased to see this puppy. So this is what I'm going to be playing a bit of, and this is bringing back some nostalgia right here, because I'm running a persistence build very similar to what I used to run back in the day for a very long time. What basically got Safoon to be my now second most used melee weapon. So that's what I'm pulling back out. This is the same version. The only difference here is I'm running Deku Prime instead of normal Deku, since that didn't exist back then. But I'm actually playing around with melee Kareen here and seeing if melee Kareen or exposure is better. Yeah, I'm wondering. No. Not worth it. The other option here is actually fortification, because fortification would actually work pretty nice. The whole arsenal equipped earlier and knew a vid or something was soon. Oh, yeah. You're looking at my profile and seeing the Nakana pulled out. Yeah, I'm just kind of tweaking it. Unfortunately, this build is like, this is going to be a great example of something you can't run, and you get limited pretty heavily if you're trying to run this on Umbra. Like, this is a pretty good example to that problem. I'm just going to hop in, just do like a conjunction survival. See, that's kind of the idea here, is that you're not full sending. You're talking about versatility. So, Kareen in a build, what I'll show again is the Riven, because the Riven's a little particular here, but I get a decent amount of range in this build. It's like 6.8 meters or something, and because of that, it's like you do sort of a hybrid. So you can do standard melee gameplay, and you can also do specifically just Contagion. So it's kind of how I've always run Contagion. It's never been the primary focus of the build. It's been a feature add. Like, you can run an Akana, you can get the lifesteal from it, but then you can also do this normal rolling. So this is what I usually do with Contagion, is I break it with rolls. Hi, Kitty. Kitty has decided to hang out. Yeah, this would suck to try to run on base Excalibur or Umbra. That's kind of the hard part about this one. So this probably won't get, like, this build might get a video for the sake of it being another evidence build for the people who think that there is not a problem here when it comes to Excalibur Umbra. This would be a great example of that. There's multiple layers of this that just don't work on Umbra. Because I'm running Nariman, if you can't see by the bottom. Because I think Nariman's actually important here. Especially, if you guys didn't see, they fixed Lethal Levitation. And Lethal Levitation is really good with Furious Javelin, since that's melee damage. You know, that'll scale very well. Yeah, I don't think that there's a necessity to forego running something like Kareen just because of Contagion, if that kind of simply answers your question. I think having the variety of features for something that's already pretty overkill, like the slash dash in this is even powerful, because this is just running my like standard afflictions build for the Exalted Blade. Because why not? Like, there's no sense in giving it influence or something. So this is a no influence variation right here too. I don't have influence on either of my melee weapons. So as a melee only build, there's a lot of features built within this. even though I do have, like, this guy just sitting in the back. Can do stuff with it, but I don't know. It's mostly there just to heal you, and that's not even necessary. You could actually run this without Deku and be just fine. It's going to be more limiting running this on Umbra than it is going to be not running Deku. That's kind of the sad part. But as an example, I roll a lot in this build. And whether or not it actually affects enemies really doesn't matter, I think. Nope, the spectral swords are not fixed. At least best I can tell. Here, I'll demonstrate this. Do a little action right here. So here's some of the things I've noticed. So on Unaru, this will refresh from the effect. I don't see a reason why the Spectral Blades shouldn't be able to refresh that. And so we'll do some normal melee attacks here. So notice that duration is not getting stacked or refreshed. It should. Like, based on the way it works on all the other focus schools, it should. I don't know. Did I grab a orb? Yeah, I think I just grabbed an orb. The Taron boost. And even then, I would expect right now for me to be able to, with how many melee kills I'm getting, so how many of those Spectral Blades are proccing, that I would be able to refresh the duration of the Taron Strike. Like, I should be able to cast it again right now, if it was working properly. You'd think that they would make it a noticeable amount for you and your whole team of Taron Strike gain. So I don't think it's working at all still. But they didn't. It wasn't in the patch notes that they had fixed it, and so that was one of the first things I tested. They're clearly looking at Nariman. Like, I think that's the important thing to understand. The fact that they actually fixed lethal levitation. This does work. Lethal levitation used to not work for if you were the client, and this has been the case for years. Like, literally years. This has been the problem, and the fact that they fixed that means that they're actually looking at Nariman, which Optimist in me thinks that includes more than just fixing the Taron Strike. It's possible that they're just finally now getting the time to look at it, and because of that, they were able to fix lethal levitation. Like, I think there's been probably hundreds of forum bug reports for lethal levitation not working as a client. Like, I've even made them. Oh. Okay. Yeah, and remember too that with the spectral blades, it applies to your whole team. So we'll look at that again. But it applies to your whole team, so it's not just you. It's supposed to be a utility in that way, in the way I perceive that. So I'll actually go over this build a little bit for you guys. Am I going the wrong way? I am going the wrong way. Oh, I do have Spectral Blades again. This is such a satisfying ability. Even though there's no enemies in sight to actually get hit by it, I want to cast it because it's cool. Just really sucks that one of its main features don't work. Fixing lethal levitation kind of changes things, and assuming and hopefully they do actually fix the Spectral Blades, because then, unfortunately, fixing the Spectral Blades and lethal levitation is another like pin into the whole fix Excalibur Umbra problem, because it is very good, and I would highly recommend. If I'm gonna probably make a whole video if they do actually fix Spectral Blades. I'm gonna make a whole video just on Nariman, because I think it'll warrant it. So what I'm looking at here, I'm going into the Exalted Blade build, or the not Exalted Blade build. This has been named this way for a long time. I probably built this thing and have been using it since like 2019. If I remember, I probably built it specifically when the Amalgam mod came out. I don't remember if I was using this Nikana Zaw before this augment or this Amalgam mod came out. But I think the important thing to notice here, this, like for Rivens for Cephone, if you're running it similar like I am, where it's a really heavy attack, it's the heavy attack build, like the same as the Muon, but using Cephone. Getting crit isn't that great. Like you look at this, and this barely outperforms like Gladiator Might. Like it's really not necessary. Like you compare that to Gladiator Might. The disposition on Cephone has been pretty awful for a long time. It's a lot higher on Muon. Muon's not as popular, so you get sort of an advantage there if you do find a pretty good one for cheap. But the thing I was going to point out is this is how I generally ran it. And then without Galvanized Elementalist, I ran Primed Reach instead usually. But I don't actually want this right now. So this 1.18 attack speed is what I've spent such an absurd amount of time using. It's kind of like when I run Duelicker. I don't like running Duelicker when I'm running Warcry because I'm so used to the default attack speed. The default plus 10% because of Excalibur. In the same case here, I'm so used to this attack speed. The way that I get to that, though, is you look at how I've tuned Warcry. Warcry gives 57.6% attack speed. So it's like so close to where it feels about the same. And this also gets your armor and all that stuff. But in comparison, if you look at the Archon shards here, I'm actually using 5 different Archon shards. Armor, duration, crit damage, strength, and casting speed. Because I tuned Warcry to try to get that 57% and getting enough armor to reach 1400 while being able to keep like ability range, Archon flow. I'm running my standard Afflictions Exalted Blade. Since all you're doing with this is slash dashing, like you're not really pulling this out. This is so much weaker than the rest of the kit. So yeah, that's using the same tech with running Blessing, because it's such a quality of life. I think even with the bug, Persistence bugged out, when you're a client, this is going to help you stay alive a lot easier. The other thing I could probably do is I've actually run this before, just running Fortification instead, but... Hello. I am, in fact, Mustache Excalibur main. I will agree with that, and I'm doing good. I actually, I took a nap for a while because things have been weird where I live, to put it simply, and I needed some extra sleep. So I've got some coffee, some absolutely delicious coffee that I've been spending a lot of time min-maxing my coffee stack, buying different coffee makers. I have a grinder as well. Yeah. Archon Flow. So yeah, this just to remind, this is a Persistence build, and the Archon Flow fits in here because I'm running my Afflictions build, so I can actually proc this with my Afflictions build. Like this is a Persistence Affliction that's based around, so like as a reminder here, this is Gas Cold. So this will proc. And it's really there as just to serve as a stat stick for slash dash. Like this isn't an Exalted Blade build. This is just to really build around this guy. And technically speaking, this is kind of the cool part. So most of this is very similar. Like what I used to run back in the day. I'm trying to remember what arcanes I ran back then. I remember using Reaper here and there when it first came out. I was still running this build-ish, a version of this, where you're running like Steel Charge, you're running... I think I was even running a lot of the times I'd run Swift Momentum to get that extra combo duration. But running Triple Umbral, Hunter Adrenaline, in that case it was Primed Flow because this didn't exist then. I didn't run Stretch. I didn't run Furious Javelin. I actually ran our friend here, Surging Dash, in order to build combo on my Zaw. That was one thing I actually used to do. And it was a health tank build using the Amalgam mod from Daiku and also an Zaw. So this is really going back to the time period from probably basically all I used from 2019 up until about 2022. Yeah, so like this was the build that I literally did nothing but play for like 3 years straight. That's how this became my most used, that only recently got like superseded by this, because you know I've spent a lot of time playing a bunch of different melee weapons, so this only relatively recently surpassed Sefun as my most used. It's how like Deku is my most used. I'm actually curious. See how fast this guy climbs in the ranks. So just from depending on how much I use this. This is not an Umbra friendly build. This is not a normal Excalibur build. This is definitely one of the worst examples of the problem, to put it simply. I want to try to do a Void Cascade with this. I just have to make sure I'm host if I do it. I'll throw that in the chat, in my clan chat, to see if anyone. Stretch. Yeah, Stretch I think is, to go over Stretch. So if you don't run Furious Javelin, you don't need Stretch, to put it simply. So Furious Javelin plus Stretch I think are required. Without that extra range, Radio Javelin and Furious Javelin stacks just suck. So if you don't run Furious Javelin, you can forego Stretch, and then you might be able to just, you could, this is a tool, as an example, this is a tool you don't always need to use, but Blind Rage can slot into there pretty nicely. And then you kind of have a free mod slot. I've gotten really used to Slash Dash having the extra range with Stretch. So this is the tool. I can't use, obviously if I could fit this, I would do it, but I would need at least one more Umbral polarity in Prime in order to make that fit. Because Prime Sure-Footed, Steel Charge here is not necessary, except for the fact that the build literally won't fit without it. Even if I put on Primed Flow, this would still only work with Steel Charge or Power Donation. And Steel Charge is actually good here, since we just want to get more base damage on a build like this. So yeah, that's the pretty in-depth explanation there. Just do random. Okay. Yeah, if one pops up, if I happen to not be paying attention and one pops up, just feel free to scream in the chat and we can do one. I just need to host for Persistence, because that is a confirmed bug. I think at this point that's been pretty well confirmed. You can check the forums, make sure nothing interesting has happened over there. Accept your death. Yeah, I've been thinking more about the strategy on the forums, because it's quite amusing that I see. I hope they're a viewer, or they at least saw my thread, but someone made a thread and then I posted that so that you guys could contribute to it or all that kind of stuff. But that someone made a thread asking for a very similar thing about Excalibur Umbra. That I'm going to assume they probably saw my original thread or videos about it, and it didn't get deleted. Literally didn't get deleted, and the threads that I've had on the same exact topic have been straight up deleted. So there's something targeted. I haven't gotten a response back on my ticket, because I did actually put in like a proper ticket talking about how I don't think that, like, I'm having a bunch of threads deleted that I don't think are violating anything. I'm not being told why they violate anything. It's not violating guidelines. I'm also got a, what I actually mentioned specifically is I think a reply from a moderator that doesn't meet the quality standards based on the forum's own guidelines. So that's what I basically said. A mod's not even following the own guidelines, and we'll see how that goes. So I don't know if there's potentially going to be an escalation there. Goal is to fix the problem. I do actually like that forum thread that I linked. I do actually like that suggestion, probably even more than some of the ones that I've made. I won't take credit for that. And what that thread is, to put it simply for those that might not have seen, it's when you... So keeping Excalibur Umbra exactly how he is right now. But for those that want a more functional version of him, when you buy a duplicate from Samaris for Excalibur Umbra, it'll have the sentience disabled by default. So it'll be effectively, stat-wise, Excalibur Prime, but without the Death Orb passive. And I think that's like, if they can do that, if that's technically possible, that's probably the best solution of all of them, because it wouldn't require extra the mastery points for people who don't care about playing Excalibur. They can just ignore it. But for those of us that actually want to play Excalibur and have multiple copies of him, they would just have to do something to differentiate him in the arsenal, like maybe use a different version of his profile pick in the arsenal to make it noticeable that it's a like cleansed or a non-sentient version of Excalibur Umbra. But they could keep it almost exactly the same. Like, you wouldn't know looking at someone whether they're using, like in the case here, we wouldn't be able to tell if this Excalibur Umbra was actually using the like Samaris duplicate version or not. Like, I think that's probably one of the best solutions. If that's technically possible, that's probably the best one out of all of them. Are mods even reportable? Yeah, when you care in a moderator, you can do that. Because, it's not like Warframe forums are this standalone entity. Warframe forums do not exist in a vacuum. So if you've got a problem with a mod in the forums that's clearly not following their own process, you can make a ticket. Like, make a ticket on the, like, Zendesk kind of ish forum or like a support system. And there's a whole thing about mod or the forums and community. So that's what I did. So I'm carrying the moderator so that they see that, because it's like, I think you guys saw from that response that I got from that moderator was like genuinely unacceptable from someone who's probably getting paid to do moderation on the forums, or at least is employed by Digital Extremes. That was unacceptable. Like, I genuinely, like, they're not even following their own quality standards. Just deleting threads. Straight up deleting them. With no reason. Ones that clearly didn't violate any policy. Not even their arbitrary policy, because I can't find anything that says you can't talk about Excalibur Prime on the forums. Like, as a part of the guidelines. Like, I don't even see that anywhere. So I don't know how that's enforced. If they don't have a policy for that, then they need to make a policy for it and make it official. Because that's not how these things work. As someone who's worked compliance... and it still works in some level of compliance and writes procedures and all that kind of stuff and like official documentation. You can't just like not have a policy. You can't enforce a policy without having it written somewhere that you're enforcing it. Like, that's messed up. Yeah, stuck. What's nice too is that with how slow the attack speed is on this build, it's a lot more noticeable when Warcry gets nullified or something. One thing I feel like I should make clear when I talk about non-conditional armor, I consider Warcry non-conditional armor, because you think in theory if you lose Warcry, if you lose Warcry, you also are probably nullified, and therefore you don't have persistence. So then the fact that you lose the armor from Warcry kind of doesn't matter. So that's kind of like a little bit of theory there on that. Like, I consider Warcry non-conditional. The only conditional nature of it is if you have enough enemies to kill, and you have enough energy to cast it. That's pretty much it. Oh boy. Go help this guy out. Yeah, even if you can't freeze the enemy, the ability to apply cold does give you crit damage. So you could argue that Kareen is also a source of crit damage. It's like a Dowdy Light. Even if you have an enemy that can't be frozen, you still put 4 stacks of cold on them, which... Cold damage Warframe. I forget the calculation for it. I think it's like an initial 10% or something. I'm looking at the wiki. Yeah, it's 0.5x at 9 stacks. So let me see. Target receives 0.1 increased flat crit damage on the initial proc and 0.05. So then 4 stacks would be 0.2. 0.3x. You'd get 0.3x flat crit damage from just the 4 stacks of cold. Thoughts on Excalibur Prime? I actually haven't really played with it much because I don't really find it too interesting. So I mastered it, like I did it for mastery, and then I don't think I've actually touched it at all. There you go. That's how much I've used Galariak, whatever. I think this is an interesting thing. This might be very useful for people that don't melee only, but I don't think it's interesting enough to strongly consider for a melee only build. Like, I think there's a lot more interesting stuff. I'm not too much of a fan of scythes. I've never really found them that great. They're nice. I think what allows hate to shine is its incarnate, like the projectiles. That's like the only scythe that I can actually tolerate. I never liked Reaper Prime when it was out, even way back in the day. Like, I never really liked hate before the incarnate came out. Like, most of my, I would say the vast majority, probably 95% of my hate usage is with hate incarnate. Like, I didn't have a really high usage. I don't think I had a very high usage before the incarnate came out. And when the incarnate came out, I really liked it a lot. Any chance you could help me improve my melee-only Excalibur build on stream? I would say it depends on what build you're talking about, but I would recommend a lot of the builds that I do make are very, very finely tuned. So that's kind of where the problem, I wouldn't say a problem, but one of the strong recommendations I would make, a lot of my builds, I would recommend copying them exactly. Like, a lot of the variability in that kind of eliminates features or the way that things just sort of synergize together. Perfect example of that is kind of what I was talking about earlier. If you remove stretch because you don't care for the extra range, you basically crap on your ability to stack Furious Javelin effectively, especially at a low strength value. And if you thought, well, if I don't want range here and if I don't want range, then put Blind Rage instead, you know, I can't do that. Well, like, instead of running stretch, if you're like, well, I want more strength in this build, let's throw on Blind Rage. You basically tank your ability to not only stack Furious Javelin, but then also you're generally going to outrun your energy economy in this build. It's not always the case, but you're generally going to. Same thing with, well, it's like, I don't know if I need this extra health. This extra health matters so much. For those, if you guys have been using Persistence, this extra health that you get from this is just, like, foundational, I think. This really is an example of where, like, you're pushing Excalibur to use Persistence. He's really not designed to, and you have to make a lot of compromises to do that, like using an Archon Shard. In this case, I'm able to do it with Warcry. If I didn't have Warcry, I would have to actually use 2 more. Literally, I'd have to use 2 more Archon Shards. I tested that with this. This is something I was already testing. Like, if I don't run Warcry, if I run, like, Raffle Advance, I literally have to use 3 Archon Shards to be able to get enough. Oh, yeah. So, like, I wouldn't recommend using Grace. Grace isn't enough. When you think about the math for it, if you could run Grace on Inaros, because Inaros has, like, 9,000 health, and the math for that, 6% regeneration, is noticeable, but 6% regeneration in your build is 36 times 0.06. That's 62 per second. 62 per second is not going to keep you alive. So that's where, like, Grace, I don't think Grace works on Excalibur in a build like this. Especially if you don't have fully max rank, you think you're not even getting 10% of the max damage that you can get per second. So then I think you'd be better off running a different arcane in that scenario. I think giving yourself more health and then relying on external sources of health regeneration. Galantine Prime. I'll be honest, I haven't used Galantine Prime probably ever. I went from the only heavy weapon that I've used, or heavy sword that I've used, is actually Parasisis. Parasisis, yeah. This is the only like heavy sword that I've used, and this is when this first came out. It was very cool. I think visually it was pretty nice. Even when they gave the extra skin or something. Let me look. Yeah, like Parasisis over here. I used to have a ribbon for it. Oh, speaking of, I do have a ribbon, an unrolled one for it. Maybe I'll roll this a bit and with this week's Kuva. We'll see. Yeah, that's kind of the something important to understand is that I do tune these things pretty precisely. You know what we're gonna do? Because I feel like it. We're going to put on Narman. I have faith that DE will fix these things. Notice here that this has a Madurai lens because this is how I got Madurai to like 98 million in extreme amount because I had Madurai in Excalibur Prime and I had Madurai in my melee weapon to do when I was maxing out the schools. That's all I did was just I didn't actually use Madurai. I just put in different lenses until I maxed out every single school. I went through, did all of the passive nodes first on every single thing. So I maxed out Nariman first, but then I worked on like getting all the passives for everything, and then I worked back again. Then I worked back again to max them all out. But looking at Spectral Blades. Going back to something that I talked about probably 30 minutes ago at this point. Notice how it says are granted to all players in affinity range. So within, what, 50 meters? I always forget. Affinity range. I think it's 50 meters. Yeah, within 50 meters. So within 50 meters, you give everyone spectral swords. So then ideally, this actually has a noticeable amount of increase. If I had to guess, if they wanted to do like 1%, then 1% would be just fine. Yeah, hate is a lot of fun. The only downside with hate, and I think I make this pretty clear in my video about it, you unfortunately need some pretty ridiculous ribbons in order to make builds fit. Like in this case, notice how outside of doubling up attack speed here, I'm basically using a 3-in-1 ribbon. So I'm giving it an insane amount of attack speed because I think the projectiles scale really well with attack speed, so you just give it a ton. But this replaces your primed reach. It replaces prime pressure point. That's kind of what you want on hate. I've gotten rid of a lot of the ribbons that I've had in the past. I don't know if people have been picking up more on that, on some of the more niche ribbons that I've rolled and tested. But for the most part, I'm kind of done with ribbons. I think even right now, I only have like 7 listed because I deleted a bunch. Ones that I'm like, I don't want to worry about this anymore. Kind of have all the things that I want, and I don't plan on burning tons of stuff on Omniformas anymore, like the 15. Well, hello there. Yep, good old Friday afternoon. I'll probably stream for several hours here. I did just wake up from a nap that I definitely needed from some very lack of sleep last night from some weird environmental conditions in my area right now. Kitty cameo. Oh, wonder if y'all hear that. You're okay. All right, very sharp. There we go. Yeah, and this is also still using Panzer because like Panzer is just really good here, stacking that viral, getting you that infinite amount of healing. Like Panzer with persistence feels required. It's not the only thing that you can do to heal. That's where I still recommend Magus Elevate. I would, even if you're running this like you're running a the Deku Amalgam and Panzer, I would probably still recommend having Elevate with Persistence. I feel like just being able to do this and not die is way too good. Proc some lethal levitation. Yeah, I got 3 stacks right there. I am host, so, but it definitely works now. That's really nice. Huge quality of life there. If you time it right, you can technically get them frozen before the projectile hits them, because it has a bit of a wind-up to it. I think it's a solid option. She is definitely a good kitty. If I look at her, she'll stop doing it. So we'll look at her remotely here. Here, I'll even do this. Sacrifice to my own visual acuity in this game. I think that's a minor sacrifice for having her fully in the picture. There you go. Okay. It's nice having a wisp here too. Yeah, I noticed, so the one ability duration shard that I'm using, if you do no duration with Warcry, it feels pretty bad. Like, something about the breakpoint on it, even if you give it 15%, like just from a single Archon shard, duration Archon shard, it feels so much better. Like, it feels like it lasts longer. Just the cadence of it, the duration, even with War, obviously with Eternal War. And you notice there, I actually procced Tennokai from... Actually procced the Tennokai just from the, like, aim glide attack on an enemy while casting Contagion. Have I ever tried taking Radio Javelin as far as it'll go? I actually have a video on that. If you look at my Excalibur Myth Busting episode 3, I believe, I actually do take... Radio Javelin to its logical conclusion, to its logical extreme, I guess, which is hitting in the millions. And that's I go into one of these conjunction survivals in order to show that. Oh, she done? Okay. Oh. She is not done.
These are worthy foes. Underestimate them at your peril.
She got the zoomies. Weird blue effect on heavy attacks with the Fallout build? No, that might be... That might be, whatever your emissive is. Or if you have an increased attack speed you might be getting the like double Exalted Blade sort of thing, where it's like if you have over like 65% casting speed and you cast Radial Javelin too quickly, you can actually get this like bugged out Exalted Blade, and then that has like a pretty large visual distraction to it, in my opinion. It's a cool feature if you want to use it, but if you have normal and missive on it, like I think I think you can't even, maybe unless you set it all to black. That's a way around that. So if you are using that, Exodia Brave. Oh, specify that it's a melee. No, I haven't noticed anything like that. I think I want to do the new mission after this one. I am host, so I'm not gonna bother. So close. Probably won't be able to Taron Strike. I feel like my Taron Strikes have been charging pretty fast. There was another mission I just did. I'm trying to remember what it was. And it wasn't a Steel Path mission, and I was able to charge the Taron Strike like twice before the end of it. I'm trying to think of what that was. I like literally just did it. And that was pretty nice to see. It gets in the way of my camera, huh? Okay, new mission. Anything interesting here? Nope. One thing I'm doing that isn't even required is the amount of resources I have from the new material, like the Taron Strike now, is just insane. Hopefully they'd let us do something with that. I doubt they'll add more Taron Strikes, but maybe they'll give us like an amp option. That'd be pretty cool. Like imagine if there was a really crazy powerful amp that you could buy for 1,000 of each of the material. Like that'd be cool. Maybe like a incarnate adapter. Kind of cool. Yeah, like even this one, I have 316 of these. Let me see. What am I? I've been just doing this mission for fun. It's a fun mission. 471, 316, and 379. I guess I might as well do the all of the Vanguard guys. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any sort of weird issue. That might be, if you're not running like the exact skin that I'm running and that kind of stuff, it could be like a skin related issue or an emissive, like an issue with your emissive that's applying. That would be my suspicion. I'm gonna top off my coffee real quick. Look at that, perfect timing. It's almost like I planned for someone to be really slow to load.
The recovery of your past. Now you must go further, no matter the cost. Remembering will be dangerous. But for
I would say in a build like this, the Surging Dash is effectively replaced by your companion in Tandem Bond. Tandem Bond just so good. This is a good example of getting extra combo helping actually do that damage. This is what I might use as an experiment with these ships. I might use these ships as an experiment to test between exposure and Kareen, because that might be worth it. That might be a good test right there. But I'm not getting an extra crit tier right now because I don't have combo. I don't have my combo maxed out. What is nice about running this is without having to run Blind Rage, your energy economy is just so much better. Like, Blind Rage can be so draining. Even when you're running Impetus and you get that close to normal amount of efficiency, it can get pretty rough. I think the Nourish variation is the only thing that doesn't feel too bad with that. I think there's a mine over here. Well, there's a lot of enemies right there. Yeah, the nice part about Contagion is it's so versatile. Because you think you can just use it like a normal melee weapon, or you can just do this sort of nonsense. I don't know if this is how people normally use Contagion. It's just how I've always played it. Like, since I started using it way back in probably 2019. What? Okay. We have one stack. Really? Look at that. Look at how rude that was. He took cover from me. I was trying to direct hit him. Game decided otherwise. See if we can hit it. Seems like Kareen will do just fine. Well, this is also with like 75% increase crit damage or crit chance and melee damage, but that one was pretty far away. Should probably be doing the objective here. Helmut needs more resources. I can't speak on that personally. I have so many resources. I don't even know if I can speak intelligently on that. I would say the new resources. It's kind of ridiculous how much new resources you have and how little you can actually spend them on. Outside of buying duplicates of the arcanes, that's like the only thing you can really get with them. Where's the turrets? I think with how much I slash dash, exposure should probably be able to stay up, which is usually, since the addition of arcanes, that's kind of how it's been. This was really, when I stopped using this build was largely when Duviri was added because of Incarnans, because it was just like a fundamental upgrade to Excalibur with slash dash and all that stuff. That's really when I stopped using this build. And then Arcanes really, there really wasn't anything interesting with Contagion when they added melee Arcanes that drew me to use it again. We do have some pretty insane amount of drops here. You think Uriel is dropping tons of orbs, Necros is dropping tons of orbs, and then Mirage is doing her weird nonsense with exploding stuff. That probably scales pretty well in this content with how squishy these enemies are. Like, I know it's usually limited to ESO farming, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty good here. So Blind Justice is probably on top of, like, really my top two stances in the game are Carving Mantis for Dual Sword and Blind Justice, because some of that's also spending so much time on them that I've gotten the tuning down for it to a pretty absurd level. Like doing that sort of thing, doing the neutral attacks. I've just spent so much time, especially at very particular attack speeds for the weapons. Like this one, with approximately 55% added. Alright. Almost one shot. I bet with exposure I'd probably one shot him. So I'll probably switch to that one and do the same mission. I don't really have anything that's buffing me like crazy right now. Demonium. Kind of interesting that they gave another Warframe a heat additive, because you think how many Warframes and how many abilities do we have in the game that give you heat damage to your weapon? What with thermal transfer and the guitar person, whoever the guitar person's name is. And then also Uriel now. Yeah, I feel like that's probably going to get one-shotted pretty reliably when I switch. Have anything to do with, yeah, like more just weapons on existing content. There's probably a bunch of stuff that they have waiting. You think there's probably a couple of, we haven't gotten a new weapon from Barrow in a very long time, like a new Vandal. I think the idea of if they want to like prevent the practical arguments with Skana Prime and Leto Prime, they just give us a Vandal and Prisma version that is exactly the same stat-wise, exactly the same disposition, like effectively a copy of it. And then the only existing problem would be the only existing problem would be the mastery, which I don't think is as much of a problem now as it used to be. I think when it used to be like only founders could get above 30 or get when progressing to 30, it was an actual topic, but nowadays it's like the difference between LR5 and LR6 is so minuscule that if that's your only limit, then it's like you only have to wait 2 months, 2 or 3 months for the next prime to come out for it to compensate, because every single prime has at least enough mastery for you to get 1200. Like, you think every single prime warframe at least comes with 2 weapons, if not like a sentinel or something else that has even more mastery behind it. But I think that's a minor point, the mastery point difference. Coming from someone that's directly affected by that not being LR6 right now, because I didn't give them more money 12 plus years ago. I think I'm definitely overkilling a lot of these enemies, which is nice, which means I'm doing a lot more damage just baseline. It's a good indication that this build functions quite nicely. I missed that. How dare I? Reminder, you do actually have to touch the ground between casting OG Contagion. You can't just, like, raffle advance, keep yourself double jumping. You actually have to touch the ground. We'll see how much more my damage goes up in this. Oh, I never even used my Taran Strike. Look at the timing on this. Oh, I don't think I got it. Someone did some murder stuff. Green hands. Who was that? Mirage. Mirage doing things. I believe it functions like Toxic Lash resupply. Okay, that's interesting. The more you know. I haven't played with Uriel. I don't really even plan to. I think there's people that will actually put the necessary time to figure the little cool intricacies like that out. Wait for a Kingineer video if he hasn't already put that out yet. He gets it right the vast majority of the time. Okay. I remember now what I was supposed to do. We're gonna switch to exposure. Like, I'm pretty sure I slash dash more than once every like 24 seconds, so then exposure is probably the best option here just in general. Just increase the base damage or the total, I guess the total damage that then scales your contagion, all that good stuff. Don't really care about the status chance. Status chance helps, but it's not necessary. It's not an important aspect of it. Probably not mess that up. A radio javelin before I war cried. The energy on this is a little tight with having like 1 extra mod cap. I think it's like 18 seconds. 18.4. Yeah. Goodbye. Should probably be doing the objective here. All right, we're at max combo.
We're getting sauced on the advance. Destroy them. Or if you're careful, hack them to neutralize the whole minefield more quickly.
Get a little Tarn Strike action here. Like, technically, I should be just slash dashing every once in a while just to reset my... make sure I don't lose some combo. The only combo duration I have right now is actually from the heavy attack, like the heavy weapon. Since I'm running Exhilarate, you can see there, it's really easy to proc. So you get some little bit of, oh crap, energy recovery. Yeah, see, that's... I feel like that's doing a lot more damage already. It's just the nature of Contagion. Giving it that insane amount of 240% elemental damage is just going to do a lot of things. And that's without having lethal levitation procced, which would scale that even higher.
Detector troubles. Offending errors. Removed. Would you care to face one of your former friends, Tenno?
Find out. With a direct hit, that definitely would have one-shot it. Once again, they are spawning in cover. How dare they? Once again, using Radio Javelin as hit markers. Viable strategy. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that exposure is going to do a lot more damage on a Contagion build.
We've captured their tight beam transmitter and troves of intel with it. Seize battery parts from the enemy and use that thing to the max to send the signal back to HQ.
Oh. That was like a pinata right there.
Battery crew. But work still. Putting in transmitter. So close. Get more power.
Bringing back memories of running this build.
Uplink. This changes everything. Get to the next rendezvous point.
Doing pretty good. 4 at 5.5. A pretty simple one right here.
Where in Soul Sky did they come from?
Haha. So ships do count. When you land on a ship, it does count as landing on the ground. Good to know. I do actually have a whole different build variation of this Nakana Zaw that is status, like it's a whole different Zaw weapon that's built around status chance, and it was designed to be used with Furious Javelin or with Wrathful Advance in order to get the crit chance and run influence, and I just don't care for it. I didn't really find it worth using. Not to say it's bad, but you can build like a full status chance Nakana Zaw and use it that way.
Supplies captured. Battle kin to be much relieved. Cash captured. Strong Genom trade.
Lethal Levitation's a little weird. Like, you have to wait for them to actually be lifted before you shoot them to make it proc. Like, right here I have 4 stacks now. Which is an absurd amount of operator damage. That 200% does actually apply to operators. It was a bug fix that they did, like, Undermined or something, or the patch right before Undermined, where they finally fixed Lethal Levitation from not applying to, like, your amp. Or to your... No, it didn't apply to your melee weapon. That's what it was. It was like, literally, Nariman, this extra damage, like weapon damage, didn't apply to melee. So as soon as they fixed that, it's like I started testing it. Like, nope, still bug though on the other end, on the Lethal Levitation as a client. So it's definitely viable as both amp damage and also, because you think Nariman has now a reliable 300% amp damage, which matters a lot less with the new arcanes and stuff. There you go, there's one shot.
It's done. I know that wasn't pleasant, but it was necessary.
I think I do have companion numbers turned off right now too, so we're only seeing my numbers.
Our turret's desperately
Let me check that.
supply. Ammo airdrop en route. Keep the drop zone clear.
Yep, do have companion numbers off.
We need ammo immediately.
Do a little skeet shooting with Exodia Contagion.
Tenno give turret ammunition.
There we go. Oh, things to murder. Can I actually hit him from here? I don't remember the arc. It's been so long since I've used this. My ability to remind myself of the drop of Contagion, which does, I believe, scale. Contagion, like the drop scales off of your attack speed, if I remember correctly. Like the more attack speed you have, the faster the projectile flies. Therefore, less drop. If I remember that correctly.
Very hungry. Need reload.
Yeah, see, that one didn't one-shot. I should probably actually turn this thing in. If I can find a turret.
Those turrets are back in fighting shape. No time to rest. You're needed elsewhere. Now is the time. Punish the Anarchs and take out as many as you can.
What? He blinked Anarch.
Deploy a
Bam.
warframe. A commandeered prime? What if I don't care.
There you go. One shot. I didn't even direct hit it there, too. That was just a aerial, or like the radial attack of it. Pretty close, though. It's not like I, like, barely missed him trying to direct attack.
Transport incoming. Scrap it.
Ooh, I think this is actually really good. Like, see, notice how Contagion, you can just... Very good Contagion on that.
Transport is scrap. There'll be no relief for the Anarchs today. Now make it count. Next objective.
Yeah, Contagion's still very good. And I think I've been maintaining, I don't know, someone's been paying attention to it. I'm pretty sure I've been maintaining 240% this whole time. Just normally using slash dash. Can we get one more? Maybe we can get one more.
Help needed. I can take it. Bring home.
Probably not. Not unless we have a bolt or whatever it is that helps speed it up. Oh.
Anarchs were cruel.
It turns out direct hits with that are pretty good.
Lay their tormented ghosts to rest.
Goodbye. It doesn't do as much damage though. Hitting 7 million slash procs or whatever is actually kind of nuts with that. I really hope they fix the spectral blades. I really hope it doesn't fall into the problem with lethal levitation where it just doesn't work and they just give up on it or something. Okay. Interesting.
The indifference lies. It wants you to doubt yourself.
Ash doing things to us. Very unholy things. Do you want to do the burst mission? Nope. I'm gonna see how bad this is. I will have host, but as a reminder, persistence does not work in Arcwing. Oh. Hello. Here, I'll send you an invite. For the longest time, Floor, I've had the same name across everything for so long, I even forget that people have different in-game names versus names and other things. I've been able to get my pseudonym on pretty much everything because I've used it since maybe 2011, approximately. That's when I think I started using it. So I've had it for a very long time. So like this Warframe account has never had its name changed, like any of that information, because I've just always had this pseudonym since before 2013. There you go.
Venus needs Tenno. Hypkin under attack. Can't strain energy. Death near. Help him now. Take seed core to kill. Stay close to Hypkin, Tenno.
I imagine all of the universal orbs you're dropping are probably helping if you're running universal fallout right now. Your war cry is also better than mine because you're probably running 300% strength or so right now. By the way, Mr. Dr. Goodcat is in fact Floor here in the chat. HR77 Floor. So you guys are aware. Yeah. Oh, I should have waited to grab that. So what's broken about Narman? So the right here's a great example of this. So we get this Spectral Blade buff after I cast it. This Vexoric Taron Strike Spectral Blades. So this is supposed to give you Taron Strike, and it's supposed to do something. The only thing it right now does is actually generate combo. Like, we'll see here. It's like right there, I just got quite a bit of combo from these hits. But it's supposed to give you Taran Strike. And it's probably supposed to be proccing, like, the Zidon Shire to give you extra status chance. It's probably supposed to be proccing that as well, but it doesn't. And it's bugged right now. But it simply just doesn't function how it's advertised. And it's supposed to give it to all your teammates too, to be able to give them Taran Strike bonus. The fact that it doesn't give the Taran Strike bonus, I don't care about the damage of it, or even the other things. It's like the fact that it doesn't give you Taran Strike. Because it seems like Narman, if you're playing melee only, you should be able to recast Vexoric just by... Once you cast it once, you probably should be able to maintain it. If you're getting enough melee kills, then getting enough initial strike to be able to cast it again. Because you notice, I'm already at halfway. But I guess you guys can even see, like, once you cast that, it hasn't been giving charge. And I tested this after the most recent hotfix in case they did happen to fix it, and I don't think they did.
Commandeered Prime Warframes are the strongest weapons the Anarchs have.
Bam.
Fire with fire, and draw one out.
Yeah, this is definitely bringing back some memories of using Exodia Contagion in this Zaw. Some good memories. Back before they really nerfed health tanking, because there was a period where it was extremely viable, and then something happened. I forget even what it is, where they just like nerfed health tanking to the ground, and I had to switch to running Brief Respite and all that kind of nonsense just to survive.
Think you're the only ones with warframes? Allow me to educate you.
Oh, look, Kitty doing a good thing.
Got an infirmary full of wounded thanks to this minefield. We're stuck until those mines are exploded or hacked. Understood?
Yeah, this feels so much safer with this extra health. It's so nice. Blessing, definitely highly recommended just in general. Ideally, you have some way of stacking it, but you can even do that in Circuit with that one health orb, the one where kills drop health orbs. Like, you can even use that to stack it, so it's fairly reliable in every variation of content, like when you can't have your companion dropping synth deconstruct orbs. I missed that one. How dare I?
Progress stops. New access codes needed. You fine?
I should probably use my thing again. I like getting to the edge because the range on this thing's pretty ridiculous.
Anarch targeting impossible.
Bam.
Use authorization. Make permanent. Rapid disassembly successful. Again.
Aha. I beat you to it because I'm host.
Goodbye, Anarch targeting array.
I did see that little crystal thing. Not worth my time to grab. I did see it.
This is a rout. Thin the Anarch ranks.
Link has charge. More anarchs come.
Nope, they are not in the sky.
Would you care to face one of your former friends, Tenno?
I feel like it's probably quite obvious that I've played this type of build for a very long time. This just it feels so natural to me because I like I said, I spent literal years just using this configuration. It was a lot of the period that made Prime my most used because when I would go to catch up with content, I would just play this build and never change it. And that's how I played a lot of catch up for some of the years that I missed playing this game back in like 2014 through 2017-ish time frame. I gotta get the other one. This is so powerful. Like this was ridiculously powerful back then, and it's pretty obvious that it still is. And it's not like I'm gimping this build. I still have Slash Dash as a very powerful option here, and Exalted Blade that I can just switch to. Even if I want to generate and like run full combo on it, you know, the attack speed isn't amazing on it. You'll actually pull it out. You know, the attack speed isn't amazing on this, but it's not bad. This is running Spoiled Strike too. This is my standard Affliction sort of stat stick Exalted Blade build. It doesn't have any combo mods on it, but that's fine. Doesn't really need it. I actually didn't mean to do that, but you know, like this will work perfectly fine. It's not too slow with Warcry. It's actually not that slow. Pretty miserable without it though.
Marking critical anarch supply caches. Make them ours.
It's quite possible I could just put in that extra... No, I don't think that's worth it. Never mind. I could put in that extra status chance if I really wanted to. Use Galvanized. I think the extra 10% on that build, the status damage running Galvanized, or not running Galvanized Elementalist and running just the normal Elementalist is still better. Even if I'm not making use of that heavy attack. The heavy attack wind-up speed in this build. Should probably be doing objective here. Get some stacks. See, do I get enough damage from my amp? Yeah. Oh, it's so nice having Operator actually useful. This patch has been great, even with all of the ridiculous amount of bugs that it's had. It's been overall a really good patch. Alright, finally grabbed that, Oh no, I'm gonna miss it. I don't even think that was a direct hit. I think I missed it. We might get to 12 here. Maybe I need to get let Mr. Good Cat here kill a bunch more enemies and drop some universal orbs. Top off my energy. You don't take any damage in this mission. It's kind of impressive. There was one of these missions I did where I was bugged and even like out of bounds didn't work, so I was just hoping to die. Like I was trying to die and I just couldn't. It's very very easy mission overall. Oh, it's just us two. Oh, really, game? I kind of want to just disable that. Just let me turn off those stupid little jump points. I don't need them. Let's pull out Deku for once. There we go. That was enough Deku action for the day. Is this thing gonna spawn? No, no. Is this gonna spawn? Really, game? Am I doing something wrong here? That's annoying.
You are out of time. The Hunters has found you.
Look at how powerful this is. Man, one shot. See if I can snipe its chest right here. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Almost died right there, but... I survived. I did not get one shot. I don't have any reliable way of healing, though. But that doesn't seem to matter. Look at that. I survived. I didn't get one shot at immediately with persistence. Bugging out my Arcwing.
You have won back your memories from the Void's corruption. Chaos has lost this battle.
That's pretty good. I'd say Contagion does a really good job at killing the Hunhillis. What's the name? Yeah, Hunhillis. Alright. Some more Excalibur action. Yeah, you did get one shot without persistence. Yeah. If you don't have enough shields, then you probably die in like the loading screen with that beam that goes across. It's probably enough with the loading screen and all that for you to just get one shot through your shield gate. Like after your shield, like you get your shield gate, but then it expires and you still die. Is there Mr. Goodcat, is there any particular resource you need to do that you still need and we can do that? If you want to initiate the mission, go for it. And I'm going to top my coffee off here again. All right. Cambiri Deimos. Okay. What is this? Alchemy. Let's see. Fine. We can do that. I just want to make sure we get host for this. All right. Goody. We're getting host. Yeah, go ahead and BRB if you need to.
Papa knew that the path to understanding this universe lay in mastering the elemental forces. So, Papa invented the crucibles.
I think the hard thing about Blind Justice you have to keep in mind that's different than a lot of the other stances that I enjoy is I have to remember to stop blocking. If you're in melee range, you just do the normal neutral attack. So you stop doing forward, you stop doing block, because then you get this slam, which the slam is, like, the little slam thing is nice if you have enough attack speed. Like, it's perfectly fine, but in most normal attack speeds that I run on this, it's a bit annoying. And the only other way to get around it is to just stop attacking otherwise.
Retrieve them from the murder and put them
I need to take some damage here.
or if a
Come on, hit me.
arises, hurl them at your assailants and observe the results. Stupid mineral fields. Combine
There we go. Taking some damage now. Getting a wisp. Wisp feels really good when you're running persistence.
Be aware. Only corrupted enemies will drop. Reactive working on your relic. Find more.
quickly now. Throw the elemental amphols at the crucible.
Where are these enemies at? Over there.
Go on.
Let's Kobe this thing from downtown. There we go. I don't know if this is actually the case, but I've noticed if you oscillate between the two different elements, this might be a mechanic that I just sort of figured out on my own that I just don't know about alchemy. Someone can confirm if they happen to know. If you rotate between the two different elements, like if you're grabbing them with your Warframe and then grabbing them with your operator, like here I'm grabbing heat and then also electric, it seems to give you a little bit more charge when you switch between elements rather than just hitting it with the same element over and over again. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just kind of what it feels like. Oh. Destroyed that by accident, I think. I was wondering that if... But the thing about the Spectral Blades, though, is if you're able to get them, did it actually do more damage, though? Like, did the Spectral Blades do more damage even if they were red critting? Because they don't seem to do very much damage. Like, they're not scaling very well off of anything. And I don't believe they count as melee for the purposes of, like, for the purposes of, like, Prime Pack Leader. That'd be something to test, too, to see if they actually trigger Prime Pack Leader, which might be very difficult to control for. You have to actually take damage in order for that to happen. Like, your companion, for you to proc it, there's probably a way to control for that. That'd be something worth testing.
You've collected enough reactives to open your relic.
How can you even go near that book? You're made of stronger stuff than me.
Where's the book? I want to murder the book. Is it down here? Someone found the book. Or was that me over here? Because I think if anyone gets close to the book, it does that voice line. There it is. Oh, let me actually do the objective here. Since we're not doing too well at doing this in a timely manner.
Tolerances. Your work shall be for naught. Hit the release valve.
Ooh. Make this nice and easy.
It's not dead. You have to kill them. Understand? Yes, that there. The book. That's its real body. Kill it.
Yeah, the problem I have with doing alchemy is there's too many not murdering things that you have to do. Like, I'd rather do the survival than the alchemy, to be honest. I'm gonna let it spawn that thing. Try not to kill the... I actually wanted to spawn one of these necromechs. Alright, I think it did.
Success! A new complex element has been created. Locating the next crucible. When
No, it did not. That's rude.
may return to the
Yeah, see, that took over 5 minutes for us to do because we weren't really doing it that well. Oh, I think we extract here. I'm too much of an Excalibur main for alchemy. So if it does have a 1.0 crit damage, which is possible, that's probably likely that it has a 1.0 crit damage. So then, and then it doesn't scale off your mods properly. Then the way around that would be to use Tenacious Bond. So you can use Tenacious Bond on your companion to do that. Oh. Acolyte wanted to find out. I'm gonna beat the Wukong. I can do it. I have faith. Oh, I did it. We at least got there probably at the same time. Beating the Wukong that's using nothing but Cloud Walker, whatever it's called. A guilty pleasure is beating Titanias to extraction, even if they're like a new player. Like, yeah, I beat you, Titania, get wrecked. Excalibur faster. It's like some new console player. Punching down like crazy. Alright, let's pull out of... Let me make sure I got the... I don't think I've looked at EDA. This actually isn't too bad. Mirror defense, though. I don't want mirror defense. Boo. Make sure I got this thing. Is that actually worth it? No. That's not worth it. Don't care. I'll pull out of here. We'll go back to the orbiter. I'll send you an invite. Look at fissures. See, the Conjunction Survival one is still up. I enjoy the Conjunction Survival if you're wanting to just crack relics. But kind of, I'm really having fun doing these missions. These, does anyone else want to join in on Parita Rebellion missions? We can just rotate through each one of them. Anyone want to do that? No. Give the chat a second to catch up. I probably will make a video on this because this is pretty locked in, this build variation that I'm running and kind of just created. This isn't one of those where I feel like I have to test this extensively because this is just almost a copy of a build that I've run for an extremely long period of time. Just sort of a modernized version of this build, using things that have already been well tested, like running Blessing and Persistence with the companion setup. The Archon shards here are very specific and I think make sense. I think they make perfect sense. Like, I don't need the extra ability strength, so I might as well use a crit damage to scale the damage higher. Just, you know, there's a lot of value there. The crit damage isn't that great on this because I only have one source of crit damage from this Riven. So then adding that in there is, I think, worth it. Other than Tenacious Bond. And then obviously that crit damage applies to Exalted Blade, which is more likely to crit than not. So it's, you know, I think overall this is a very well engineered build that isn't gonna have a lot of flexibility in it. Like, maybe if I eventually get another Umbral Polarity and I burn it on Excalibur Prime once again. Ooh. You know what we could do? Have you done Descentia this week, Mr. Good Cat? I have not. Descentia would be kind of fun. I don't need any of the rewards for it, but it would be it's a cool game mode. Okay, let's do that then. Let's do it then. Why is it not letting me click it? Oh, the loot floor. Okay. Or if you haven't gotten all of the extra cool rewards with the Mephica resource, that would be nice to get, like the simulacrum. The insignia thing is a lot of fun. I would recommend doing the insignia thing where you get the badge and then you upgrade it. Like, that's a good couple of days of content if you don't go absolutely psychotic on it and do it all in pretty much one night.
Let us spill some blood.
Oh, we got a nourish.
Disturb Albrecht's slumbering progeny.
Deep within Rothson's psyche, we find a shrine to himself.
So, like, example here is when I get this and I roll. I don't know. There's so much little things that I do with this because I've just used it for so long. I have to think about what it is I'm doing because it's just muscle memory at this point. Like, that muscle memory is real. Like, the best example I've ever had of muscle memory that I've used before is there was a while where I played WoW for 15 years, World of Warcraft, and when I took a break for about 3.5 years between the end of Cataclysm to the basically first week of Warlords of Draenor Season 2, I was able to set up my keybinds based off muscle memory. Like, that's how ingrained that is. And you're talking about like 50 keybinds. Like, this isn't a simple amount of keybinds. I was able to rebuild my keybinds into that just by that alone. And then I learned after that I should just have a copy of my like keybinds .wtf file, whatever it is. Like, you can cache that file for WoW. So if you ever go and play it again, then you can do that. You can just copy and paste that file. But I think they cache that information now, so it'll just like synchronize across your account. And kill those things real fast. Yeah, like this movement that I do with this. I don't know how easy it looks or how easy it is to replicate, but it's just something that I've just done for so long. This is why I have my attack speed set up the way it is and my strength in this build so that I can mimic that, because if I got my attack speed to like 70-80% on this build, I wouldn't have the timing down as good as I do. Like, I think you're giving me a little bit higher, and so I'm adjusting to it. Like, I think your increased war cry. Yeah, see, I'm getting like 83%. It's tight enough to where it's not breaking my ability to keep fluid movement, which is nice. I've also spent a very long time getting used to when people would give me a war cry and like wisp and all that stuff. So I've gotten a good. It's less impactful in my opinion than when I run Dual Liquor. When I run Dual Liquor, it feels like it. With Carving Mantis, I feel like it's a lot more sensitive to when people give you attack speed than this. Than running Blind Justice. Regret missing Exodia Contagion. You can still buy it. Keep that in mind. It's not going to become available for a very long time, and right now it's probably at a decent price territory. I don't know if I can really speak to that honestly. I don't traffic in those types of things, so I don't keep up with the prices. I don't keep up on the prices on any of that stuff. Yeah, it just feels so good. When they actually fix persistence, the host issue with persistence, oh my goodness, this will be so much fun. I'll probably just run this build for a very long time once again. Because I'm getting a little, like, I spent a long time with my, like, rebuilding that Fallout influence build. I was just using nothing but Exalta Blade. I get kind of sick of it. That's where I'll switch to Dual Liquor or I'll switch to something else. And this build just brings back some good memories, and it's obviously powerful. You're overkilling a lot more than I am, Mr. Good Cat, based on the damage numbers here, which is good. That's because you're Mr. Good Cat. You're running the Influence Fallout build, correct? With the Zaw, we kind of worked through, and got tuned up. I should probably definitely do a level cap. I really want to run a level cap this tonight and test this. Yeah, the whole build. Okay. Yeah, taking a bit to get used to. That was from a direct message from him. Or her. Or they. Whatever. Affinity booster. Oh, it's definitely something I needed. Oh, I actually don't even have an affinity booster on right now. If we're going to level cap, I'm putting on an affinity booster, and I'm doing that so I can XP cap. Because I have not XP capped my my Cephone, because I've spent so long polarizing it like crazy. Like, I should probably just full Omniform it, other than the thing, just to make it easy. Let's burn a bunch of platinum doing that. And then never have to worry about polarizing it again. Keep the Omni, and then, or the Umbral polarities on it. Fully Omni polarize it otherwise. The only 3-tier Arcane? Yeah, and Contagion, if... Contagion's still very good. Like, I think this is a good demonstration of this, but don't take this build as an example of how Contagion will work in every single build, because I'm running Furious Javelin, and Furious Javelin with, especially when I proc Lethal Levitation, you're talking an insane increase in Contagion. Like, that's not a standard thing to benchmark off of. Ooh. Big sword. Big sword, go burr. I think the really cool thing, this is a future buildcraft. Yeah, little spoilers into where my brain's at with Spectral Blades. If Spectral Blades is reliable enough for you to be able to repeatedly cast your Naramin, Vexoric or whatever it's called, every 30 seconds, the duration of the Spectral Blades is enough for you to get back to a full charge. There's a certain one of those arcanes that can give you stealth, and then you can run something like Crepusar and get really good damage with Exalted Blade. Or not Exalted Blade, but also Radio Javelin, all these other things. That's a little theory crafting built into that I'm waiting on. Usually there's a lot of things, like, there's so many ideas that I have that are simply waiting on bug fixes, and that's why I a lot of times I'll retest everything, like all of these things. Like all of these things that are bugs, that are problems, as soon as one gets fixed, like running Naramin and Lethal Levitation, that's been holding back a couple of my builds as a problem source. This is actually one of them. Going back to this Zaw build and getting that extra melee damage and reliably getting that extra melee damage where I'm not worried about hosting or not is pretty massive. At some point, I'll have to play with the bayonet gun or the bayonet weapon again. Maybe if they add an arcane, that makes more sense. Because I don't care for the hybrid gun bayonet style gameplay. As much as I like bayonet firearms in real life, I don't know, something about it just didn't click well. I'd rather just use other weapons. But I can definitely see where someone could really enjoy using that weapon. It's definitely a really cool add to the game. Genuine question. You mispronounce certain names on purpose? No, I don't. It's my accent is my excuse for that. Part of my excuse is not necessarily that English is not technically my first language. At least it's not as simple as that. I grew up really young, living in Germany, and it was in the late 90s when, especially in that part of Germany that I was in, wasn't fully integrated. So it was still kind of post-collapse of the Berlin Wall era, and that definitely caused some limitations there. So when you're like 3 or 4 years old trying to learn language, like anywhere from 2 to 4 years old trying to learn language, and you're having to learn 2 different languages at the same time, and you already don't have a very good understanding of speech and having to go through speech therapy and stuff, that's kind of the reality of that. That's my excuse. A little background and lore there for you.
Such boils fester within all. Sin is our sickness. We are morbid with guilt and shame.
Looking for the things. Where are they? The Unaru hammer innate cast buff isn't properly described too. Yeah, there's that armor strip feature that's built within it that's not described at all that I didn't even notice until someone pointed it out in comment section or something. That Unaru does in fact have a built-in armor strip for like 30 seconds or something. I don't necessarily know the duration of it, but it's not described anywhere. But it is a feature. Like each hit will strip like 25% armor. So it effectively gives you a lightweight form of the second ability, the Caustic Strike, just built into it, which is really cool. But nice little secondary feature. It's a notorious problem with, I think, DE's always had, of properly describing the way things work in this game is just, it's never been done well. They've gotten better, but it's just never been done well. Yeah, and when I say grew up in Germany, that was like maybe 3 or 4 years of my life early on. Like I started school there and then moved to the United States, and I've lived in the United States since. Just military brat stuff. Growing up military, being active duty myself, and now being a normal civilian. Mostly normal with an asterisk, but it's simply.
Father Leon Allard has become caught in the
just came back to Warframe. Excalibur player. Can you do level cap with it? Yeah, so actually, if you look at my channel, I have tons of full uploads of level cap runs that I've done with Excalibur, various builds. I've done it with all 3 versions of Excalibur. I even have normal Excalibur level cap runs that I've done. So yeah, I would recommend checking out some of those. I have tons of builds. Anytime I do like a level cap run or anything like that, it's usually just like I'm not voicing it. I don't have my camera on. It's just normal gameplay. But at the very end, I do show what build I run. So I don't show the build in the beginning. I show the build usually at the very end. The timestamps on everything. I try to keep the chapters on my builds, or chapters on all my videos, accurate so that it helps people. If you're just trying to pan through it and get to the meat, you don't want to listen to me blabber on for potentially an hour. then go for it. Or if you need to rewatch or something to check a build. Yeah. Yeah, I don't intentionally mispronounce things. It's there's a lot of nonsense that I mispronounce all the time, even in my job. I've had my manager be like, when I first got to my current job, just be like, it's pronounced this. It's like some acronym or something that I just mispronounce. I say mana instead of mana. I don't know which one's proper, but you know, it's my accent. It's my excuse for it. English, not my first language. Technically, asterisk. Speaking both languages simultaneously. Going to German schools. Being required to speak German. I don't speak any anymore. But being required to do it to participate in society when I was young. Yeah, Descentia is so chill. This is really chill. Okay. Oh yeah, we gotta get another buff here. 50% status vulnerability. I think we'll be fine with a heat stack. We'll test to make sure our armor is actually high enough to have Warcry do its job. If I'm constantly getting a heat stack, I definitely need to make sure I have Warcry up.
The only problem is narrowing it down.
Oh, this probably does a great job at destroying these things. Yeah, see right there, I actually lost it because I got a heat stack, and I'm required. For me to get 1400 armor, I have to have Warcry up. Ooh. Well, luckily you're not hosting. I did hit that thing for 40 million. Jeez. Pretty intense. I think some of the timing here is making sure you roll after you land or like slide into that. I feel like I just do that so innately with how often I've played this build. That is something you'd want to do to break some of those landings when you're doing like this kind of stuff where you roll into it. Some things to keep in mind. I think my aim for Contagion is also getting back up to speed. Like, just direct hitting stuff all the time with it. I may play melee only, but I've spent a very long time playing first-person shooters fairly competitively. Like, I'm not some crazy MLG player, but I do pretty well for when I play first-person shooters. That does help you in melee-only gameplay. Don't think that melee-only gameplay prevents you from having to aim. It is still a skill, especially when we run Contagion build like this. Still something you should be good at. And that you can use your skills effectively if you are someone like that. Would it be good to grab an Nikana Prime? I've never really cared for Nikana Prime, to be honest. I think Nikana Prime is even worse now than, like, Skiajati. You think how important something like status chance is now in comparison? Like, if you really want that extra crit chance, just run Furious Javelin, and Skiajati is more useful. Like, I would argue that Skiajati is more useful than Nikana Prime now. Just with how important status chance is, and the extra feature of being able to become stealth is just really cool. Either way, they're going to do effectively the same damage, even if Nikana Prime does outperform it slightly on like a heavy attack build or something. With the way that Tennokai works, I would just use Tennokai procs instead. That's my 2 cents on Nikana Prime. I think out of Nikanas, the most interesting Nikana is actually Dex Nikana, because Dex Nikana has a unique use case that you don't get on any other weapon with its combo, where you can get guaranteed max combo on it at only losing like 1 extra multiplier. Going from 12 by 220 to 11 by 110 is just really useful. If you want to pick up like a Riven and min-max it, then if you're able to get 30 initial combo on a Riven on Dex Nikana, then you can replace Corrupt Charge and get like extra crit chance or range or damage or something, and that's definitely a useful thing to do. That's one of the things I keep forgetting to roll again. I've been rolling other Rivens. My most recent Riven I rolled was it might actually be best in slot, like the god roll for the build that I run it in, which is a Verglass Riven, because I happened to sell my other Verglass Riven, so I needed to kind of replace it with something on when I do run it, which is mostly on Dante. And I'll actually link that. So here's a little speculation here. So I run this build on Dante with Worm. And you might think, well, status duration isn't that great. And sure, plus heat damage, where's the crit chance? Well, in this case, I don't care about crit chance. All I care about is getting as much heat damage as possible and stacking actual status duration when you use his final verse and you get the... whichever one it is. It's the one that consumes status damage over time. It's primarily how I play Dante. That status damage is increased by status duration. It's like a, pretty linear multiplicative version of that. So it's like I happened to roll that, and I was like, oh, okay, let's do some testing, and realizing, oh, wow, this is actually probably best in slot for my Dante build. Because the Dante build does not need Tenacious Spawn, so you don't even need to bother with it. But just kind of cool. Maybe end up getting a video on that at some point when I feel like it. When I feel like running out that build again. I've been hammering and ironing out my Dante build for a very long time. I just don't think it's warranted making a video on yet. I don't think it's interesting enough. You thought it was your internet. Oh, my stream continuously lagging? Let me see. YouTube, open in studio. My stream is poor health. I'm seeing if I can fix that.
Such boils fester within all. Sin is our sickness. We are morbid with guilt and shame.
Huh.
Memories are a mess. Clean this place up. Take what suits you. He obviously does not care for it.
Aim a little higher. To the left.
Oh. Did that fix things? Okay. Looks like that might have fixed things. See, is the health better? Are we live still? There we go. Is that actually loading? Like, I think it must have been just like a bad connection from the stream. Like, I kind of don't understand the nitty gritty on streaming for like the networking side of stuff. So like I've done IT work for, I guess, technically 7 years, being like a pretty advanced IT generalist. I don't know the way streams actually function, but I stopped and started it and it seemed to establish a good connection again. I might be able to figure out like what port. I don't even know what port it uses for streaming. Let's see if I can find that real quick without spending too much time looking at it. Okay, so that's the network. Go to details. OBS. So it is coming from OBS. Like, there might have just been a really bad network path. Browser page. Looks like it just used the standard port 443 for that. Whose IP is that? Seems like it's fixed now. It's definitely not a connection issue on my end. That would have been probably how the stream was propagating through the internet, and something bad through that caused some issues. Oh yeah, we'll see if we can find that. Are things looking good now? Anyone able to see? Things looking good? I can. Yeah, it looks like it's good now. I blame the internet. Oh, here, let me start Simulacrum. Because I think that actually matters if I start it so that I can show the, so I can get the higher level. Like, I think that does matter. Yeah, I'm just going to chalk that up to, like, somewhere within the internet of me connecting to Google servers for this stream just got messed up. And stopping it and restarting it seemed to fix it. Haven't run into that issue before. See if I can see this. You have like a blue glow is what you're saying? Oh. Okay. A blue dust effect. I wouldn't doubt it. I would try removing the skin and seeing if the skin is doing it. I set the emissives, I think, on that to a different color. I can actually look real quick. Influence. Yeah, see, I set these to blue. But it could be Exalted Blade, too. If you have... Let's see. Let me switch back before I forget. Like you can see here, I'm not seeing anything. What focus school are you using? I have the default color. I don't see it. It might be an effect of Unaru. You never know, too. Yeah, I have my emissive on Unaru set to black. Like, on my operator, I have it set to black because of Vazarin's Guardian Shell. You have this bubble in front of you for Vazarin's Guardian Shell. It's obnoxious without just setting that to black. Warframe when you get hit. Are you using, like, combat discipline? No? You have a blue glowy effect. Maybe it's your ephemera? If you're using the same ephemera as me. Yeah, I have a blue glowy effect on my Warframe sometimes, but... blue dust effect thing. It's like a blue glass, or blue gas cloud. That might be a Warcry. Looking right here. I think that's Warcry. Like, as soon as I casted Warcry, I got this blue glowy effect on me. So it might actually be Warcry. Here, I'll get out of affinity range so you can see. So, like, right there, it might have disappeared. And then I have my ephemera, which has this blue glow effect, but just notice here, I have a slight blue effect from that, and now I have like this shield on me almost. So I think that is Warcry. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably a emissive color thing. You might be able to adjust that if you change your... we'll see. We'll figure this out now. If you change the like cosmetic slot on your emissive, you might be able to remove that. Let me see. We'll, or energy. Maybe it's your energy slot. Yeah. It might be your energy then. In your Warframe's color. Switch this back. Yeah, it's your Warframe energy for Warcry. So Warcry has this like this visual effect. It's like right here I have Warcry up and I don't have it. Just set it to deep black, like smokes blackest black. I might just keep that for now. Setting the energy to black. I don't mind it though, to be honest. This bluey effect. But at least we know what it is. So I didn't know that Warcry has this like visual effect on you. Like I can see you having it now. Oh, I'm wondering if that's applying it based on who casts it. So like are yours? It's not the Warcry effect on my body itself though. Oh. It's like if mine expires, you have blue around you right now. But if you have yours set to black, if it applies that to everyone, like your Warcry applies your energy color to everyone. Yeah, let me change it. That'd be kind of interesting. Kind of like the blue. It's like here. Yeah, see? So yours is red right now. And yours overrides mine. Because it's a higher strength value. So yeah, that's cool. Warcry does have a little visual effect there. That's actually a neat feature. You think you can kind of notice. I noticed it with the attack speed, getting the lower attack speed, but if viral would be good on my Zaw. I think the problem with viral on your Zaw is if you're running a Panzer, it's kind of redundant, but then also Zaws have an innate viral. So as an example, let's get my combo up fully here. It just to show this build still has good slash dash damage, 6.8 million on the proc there, but even without my companion up, you get a viral proc right there. Impact and viral. So Contagion does have innate viral in it, and if you add just a little bit of status chance, like with Weeping Wounds, it's enough for you to generally proc. In this case, corrosive, toxin, viral, impact. I think the impact's force though. With Contagion, if it's a direct hit. There's a lot of really weird specific stuff with Contagion. I don't really care to get too deep into the specifics of it, but it does have a like viral built into it. I would check the wiki. I think the wiki is accurate on that. Try it one more time here. I'll lower these guys to top level. Yeah, I would mess with some of the emissive energy colors on weapons and stuff. That's probably where it's coming from if I had to guess. Some sort of emissive energy issue or emissive and or energy issue. Oh, I see what you're... Yeah, that's weird. It's like clouds around you. Maybe that's, maybe it has to do with the emissive on your companion. If you're running a Panzer. Like the quills and the heal from that. Maybe it's something with Hunter Recovery. Yeah. Came clearly in beta. Yeah, I would mess with some of the emissive colors like on your companion and stuff. We'll pull back out the lobby. Get into some missions here. Send you another invite. gonna try Hunt Helicia again. I see. I'm not seeing blue, but I am seeing like a black and reddish cloud thing around you. I'm going to guess it's some sort of emissive color. I set a lot of things to black to remove the effects because I don't want to have those extra particle nonsense. Also, if you're using ultra settings, then I would or the ludicrous settings, I would recommend not doing that. It's not worth it. So there might be some extra particle effects that you're seeing. It's also possible that what you're seeing is local only, or at least the strength of it is local only.
You have only 12 minutes to confront your past battles. After that, the truth must be faced.
Okay. Seems like they've mostly fixed the issue with the orbs dropping in most missions, the convergence orbs, because that seems to be a lot better. It wasn't in the patch notes, but it seems to be a lot better on this most recent hotfix. I noticed that in a few mission types, even not as host. I am host here, but even not as host. I guess I'll mine back here. Really hoping a Boy Cascade procs tonight. That'd be nice. Bring this exact build to level cap. Contagion and everything. Persistence and everything. As host. So I don't run into bugs. Oh, whoops. Think dumb. What weapons do I think is the best influence host? I think one of the most interesting is probably Venato. Or Venato, the new scythe, because of the Tau. The ability for it to apply and spread Tau. That's very unique. That's definitely a notable feature of it. Prisma Skana Incarnate is extremely good as an influence host, and that just has to do with the way that the combo on undamaged targets works. So if you can pretty much get full combo from a single proc of influence, especially if you're ahead of your teammates and you can hit a target and spread influence, it'll count those hits on those targets as undamaged to generate combo. So you can very easily generate full combo almost instantly with that. Would suck. I wouldn't say it sucks. You don't have to do it, but getting a Riven with electric damage on Skana is very powerful. Like something with damage, attack speed, electric is probably the recommendation there. But I have a pretty simple Riven for Skana right now, and it works just fine. It's just, I think, electric attack speed. But I think those are my two, like the two stronger recommendations I have for influence. All right. See, am I live now?
And so is its cargo.
Looks like that's the case.
Dropships! Give those soul-damned bastards hell.
Okay. So I'm wondering if it actually might be either a YouTube issue or a Windows update issue. Because Windows updates just went out this week. I don't think I've streamed since the last Windows updates. So then it's quite possible that there's some like weird backend thing that Microsoft changed that's breaking the TCP connection. I believe TCP. I think 443 is TCP as a port. Any network engineers out there might know that.
They're hammering us hard. We need to strike back. There's a commandeered prime in the area. Do what it takes to draw them out.
Yeah, it's a TCP. So I'm wondering if that's a issue. If it seems like it's good now, which I think it is.
They're out. Put them out of their misery.
Would you care to face one of your former friends, Tenno?
It's done. I know that wasn't pleasant, but it was necessary. This is a rout.
Okay.
The Anarch ranks. Every time you grind those bastards into the mud, and I've been
These guys are doing a great job without me. Trying to fix this stream. I'm wondering if it is actually either a YouTube issue or a recent Microsoft update issue. I enabled a couple of features within OBS as a troubleshooting step, network-wise. Like some of the adapter settings, I did change to see if that would fix things. Like in some of the advanced settings on networking. If it is a Windows-related issue, I wouldn't doubt it if it's being seen across the board, since I imagine most people are running Windows 11 at this point and have automatic updates enabled, so their machines are probably automatically applying them. That could be also OBS. There's a lot of complexity here of way things can change. Yeah, let me know if it happens again. If it happens again, I'll probably just stop, just because that's annoying. I understand how annoying that is, personally. If there's a system-wide issue with streaming, then I think it'd be reasonable to potentially move to doing a video on this and uploading. Hey, how long it takes to get Arcane Fallout ranked up? Oh yeah. So for me, I've had Arcane Universal Fallout since I think the first day of the patch. I basically spent, I think, 35 platinum a piece to buy it like day 1 or 2 of a patch to really test it. Because I had the theory about the Fallout build that I wanted to test to see how well that worked. And it sucked initially because Fallout was actually bugged. It didn't apply to exalted weapons for like a good week. I think it's like a couple of hotfixes for them to fix that, if I remember correctly. Like, it wasn't applying Fallout properly to exalted weapons. And then they had to fix that. I'm thinking of, I think I'm remembering that properly. Ooh. Time to shine. Yeah, this works so well. Yep. I'm wondering.
Attacks anarchs. Here's your new orders. We've captured their Type beam transmitter and troves of intel with it. Seize battery pods from the enemy and juice that thing to the max to send the signal back to HQ.
Oh my goodness, this blast damage. This blast damage is nuts. Okay. Let me check.
You have won back your memories from the Void's corruption. Chaos has lost this battle.
Let's see if I can fix this from YouTube Studios. All right, let's see. Is this back? Live. I'm in the orbiter. I don't know. There's something going on with stream. We'll see if this is any better. I do see the like stream health issue that'll show up, so that's clearly an issue with the connectivity to it. It's pretty much guaranteed it's not a networking issue on my end. It has to do. So there's some sort of software API issue in between here and there. We'll see if it doesn't work now. I'm ignoring YouTube's recommended settings for bitrate to just give it as much bitrate as possible. Just make sure something's not throttling it. The arc weapon, yeah, here I actually do have a video on my arc wing. That's this guy, the Riven. Multi-shot, crit damage minus zoom, basically best in slot for this. These are relatively easy to roll. You don't need to have it as crazy as this, but you want multi-shot and crit damage out of the options to benefit from an ever here. Yeah, this guy I should probably change right now because I don't get shields, so I should probably have another variation of this. With a persistence variation. And then I can get rid of like shield mods, throw some health related stuff in here. Might as well. If I'm running persistence, there's no sense in me running a build with shields in it. Damage on health to shields. I should probably run that. That should probably be pretty good. Max energy efficiency. Okay. I probably should have changed that to a Omni. Oh well. Whoopsie. Probably don't need the range here. Allies within 140 meters. Maybe I want the range for that. I feel like the armor is pretty redundant. 100 armor versus that. Not really. It doesn't probably really doesn't matter. Corvus Prime is an arc gun. The problem I have with a lot of the other arc guns is they're not universal. So I discussed this in my video about it. Kuva Yunga out of across the board is the most versatile arc gun that I have. Okay, the stream health shows good, but not excellent. So I'm wondering if there is something on YouTube's end that's causing some issues. It's annoying. I don't think it's a network limitation on my end, to put it simply. Let me actually test that theory. We'll run an update on something. I'll run an update, but yeah, it's not showing excellent quality, so there's some sort of networking issue here. Definitely not on my end. I can tell you that for certain. It's definitely not on my end. There's basically one device on my network on gigabit. So it's... Yeah, so this is still a persistence build. I'll show this. This is a completely unique... Actually, this really isn't that unique, to be honest. This is very similar to my... This is probably almost exactly using my influence one. I've just swapped out something here. I'm trying to think of what I lost in that other variation. Probably flow. I think I don't run flow in that, and I use Archon shards to get some max energy. Yeah, so it's definitely not my... Well, maybe it could be my network. Just looking at it, I'm only downloading something else at 4 megabytes per second in the background. For right now, I'm mostly testing it. I'm seeing how effective it is. Wondering if I run a speed test. Make sure speed test doesn't show anything abnormal here. Like if my upload is actually bad right now or something and I need to fix it. Oh, okay. It's very possible that it's a networking issue on my end causing that, because I'm supposed to be getting gigabit and speed test even shows nothing. So it's probably, might be on my end. The way that it's networking through. Yeah, only 22 megabits on upload. So it's probably actually an issue on my end. And that's probably not on my local network. That might be on my ISP's network. But I can probably determine that. Yeah, I've been playing Excalibur Prime for a very long time. That has consequences to polarization. But now, I generally don't have to worry about that because Omniforma. Right, kitty? Say hi, kitty. Oh, kitty. There's a kitty. Kitty. Ooh. That's a big wind, isn't that, kitty? Ooh. Yeah, this might also be just like networking issues because of inclement weather right now, to put it simply. Without getting in too much detail. I don't want to get too much detail about the weather right now. Maybe Kitty is taking all the internet. I might actually reboot my router. Or not my router, my modem, just to make sure it's not like... I think what might be a good indication is it's connecting me from a server to my ISP very far away. And I wouldn't doubt it if like my ISP's local network is a problem right now from certain inclement weather. And I wouldn't doubt it if that's the case. So I might do that real quick. Which will involve me stopping and then starting the stream just to test that. But, well, I probably wouldn't need to test it. I could probably just do speed test. Oh, here we go. Here's an optimal server. See, maybe it's fixed. No. Still a problem. Daiku Riven. So this is my recommended Daiku. If you can see this. Looks like the bitrate isn't terrible right now, but... Yeah, I would say for Daiku Rivens, the only important things would be like crit chance, and then I think heat is very useful in order to force blast. I think blast out of the options is just better, even if you're running acuity. But for Rivens, it's like if you don't have a Riven right here, you probably just put the 60-60 heat mod. So without the Riven, I would just run like this. Like, genuinely, I would just run that instead. But the crit chance here probably matters. I don't know. This is not really something I've spent a lot of time recently min-maxing, so I've just been taking the policies that I've applied before. My username is the same as in-game. Or same as my YouTube. As my main YouTube handle. I'm seeing if I still have networking issues here. Because I wouldn't doubt it if there are. Just, yeah. It would make sense to me why there might be networking issues with my ISP right now. Yeah, I'm getting like a 10th the bandwidth that I should be. I'd say that's more than sufficient, yeah. I would just throw that into this build. You don't get blast, but honestly, is that really necessary? And then if you wanted to run, you could run the cold mod if you really wanted to as well. Like the Shivering Contagion. If you didn't have 60-60 heat, you could probably get rid of hammer shots and swap that in there. But no, I think that's a good Riven. It gives you what you need, I think. The negative multi-shot is entirely fine if you use primary acuity, which I think primary acuity is worth it on bows. Yeah, there is some inclement weather in my area right now, so to put it simply. Yeah, and I think the fact that it has this weak point hit, I think you full send that and use primary acuity. Primary acuity fixes a lot of annoyances I've had with bows over the years where it's like you have to stack multi-shot to make it good. It's like acuity, I think, works really nice as it is. I really wish they would revert that change of it not being like multiplicative, because I feel like it should be multiplicative, or they should up this from 350 up to like 700 instead to really make it more powerful, because it might not be competitive nowadays because of that, since apparently there was a point where this 350% was multiplicative instead of additive, and so it was doing a lot more damage in certain ways than it should have. No, because I don't primarily use this, so it's here for utility. So like this Daiku, I'm not really using it. It's there for utility. So having primary exhilarate, which is really easy to proc on this, I find it more useful than having more damage on it. Like it does sufficient damage as is. Okay, stream health, excellent. Looks like it definitely might have fixed itself. So that's good. Let me see if my ISP has fixed whatever issue they were running into. Nah, the bitrate still sucks, but seems to be fine though. Right, Kitty? Yeah, Kitty agrees. She is a PhD level networking engineer. So she if Kitty agrees that everything is fine, then everything is fine. Let me think if there's anything else. Show the kitty again. Sure. I'll let you get some more data on that if you're making one of your mugs. That's really cool. Oh, Kitty, you're okay. You're okay, Kitty. Here's Kitty. She is very content with being held. Right, Kitty? Would you like to tell everyone your secrets? I'm not going to squeeze her to get her to talk, though. We will not be shocking or torturing animals on this stream. She is here on her own accord, mostly. Hey, don't do that. Put those away. She has the right to bear claws in this household, so I don't trim her claws. She does a good job at keeping them nice and healthy. She does have the right to bear claws. Okay. Let's see, back to some sort of content. Oh, I want to see how this does against the Daclylist. Yeah, so when I first got her, all of her whiskers were black, and then as she's lost whiskers, they have come in white. She is like 7 years old now, so she's not a young kitty, but she is tiny. She's only 6.5 pounds, so she's a little runt of a kitty. She absolutely despises other cats. There's a neighbor cat who, like a really, really amazing neighbor cat who just sort of meanders around. It's like one of my neighbors, I think the neighbor across the street, and she absolutely cannot stand looking at any other cat, even though the cat's absolutely wonderful kitty. Like, she just sits there and rolls on his belly. This is actually like a glass window or a glass sliding door, and he's come up to this and tried to be really nice, and I've tried to get her to be friendly with them, but she just does not like. She doesn't mind dogs, even big dogs. She has no problem with. It's just other cats. She must have had some sort of trauma when she was a stray or in the shelter or something, since I did get her from a rescue from a humane society, and they found her on the street. She wasn't brought in by anyone. They found her on the street. And I wouldn't doubt it if she had some, with how small she is, if she had some really bad experiences with other cats. That's kind of been my suspicion. But she's a great kitty. She's definitely a one cat sort of cat, and I'm a one cat sort of guy, so that kind of works out. Yeah, she has a very adorable face. I don't know what it is about other cats now that don't look nearly as cute, but she has an adorable little proportioned face. Probably because she's so small. Like, she's just a very small kitty. Okay. She's grooming herself. I'm not gonna bother her again. But yeah, she's a very good kitty. She's sharp though. Like like I don't mind it. It is but a flesh wound.
Make the Anarchs regret their disloyalty. Cut them down.
Yeah, she does not like dogs, or cats, or people. See, my cat's like, it almost like she was raised by dogs or raised around dogs, because she has the like level of social ability with humans and other people where she just loves other people. She just really hates cats. And like, I use the example of when like I did a refinance on my house, and the lady from the like the title company came over, and she was just all over her, and she was having a good time with my cat being really friendly and stuff. And she's so soft and fluffy. She has really fine fur, so then she's really soft as well. She's not like super coarse on her fur. Like, she is spooky soft, to put it simply. Just having really fine fur like that. Those things are bumping into one another. And one shot. I think I direct hit that one. Yeah, exposure. I'm going to stick with exposure, because it's so easy to maintain with slash dash. It's like I should be slash dashing every like few seconds anyways. And radio javelin, so maintaining exposure is pretty simple and pretty easy. Oh, okay.
No drop until Anarch out. Turret hungry. Need reload.
There's a period where I think I experimented with a retaliation build and Exodia, like Exodia Contagion, but I don't think it's worth testing again with persistence. I'd rather just get healing and run persistence. It's just such a nice combination. One-shotting all these targets. Oh, for someone mentioned before, the last one we did with the Hunhalist, the reason we were doing so much damage was because someone had thermal transfer, so I had like 500 blast damage. And that's what was doing, that was what was hitting so hard. So that, and the way it scales with Contagion is just insane. That would also be an option here, just running thermal transfer, but I don't like it on Excalibur in general. Because you're sort of losing out on a lot of features, the fact that it doesn't apply to Exalted Blade at all. and then therefore also slash dash. Okay, let me see.
Drop zone too hot. Clear it, you must. Just one more.
Let's see if we can snipe some things from downtown.
All turrets firing, and not a moment too soon.
We're actually going to use this right here. Do a little slingshot off that. That's some real pro gamer stuff right there. Most of the time, those things are annoying.
We're under attack. Hold the line.
I should probably use my Taron Strike. I keep forgetting to use that sometimes. It's actually really good here, too. I'll say in general, for those watching that also participate in the forums and keeping sort of the good fight, feel free to force them, like, make new threads, like, ever so slightly different topics, and then just, like, force the moderators to be sitting there combining threads like crazy, and really pressing the issue, because I think it is a good time, based on Old Peace and Persistence and Taron Strikes and all that, to really harp in on this issue. I think it's probably one of the best opportunities to really push it, with everyone seeing Excalibur Prime and that whole topic coming up. And specifically talking about fixing issues with Umbra, because unfortunately I think the reality is the battle for bringing back founder items is not happening right now. Like, I think that's the reality of it. I don't think that's a conversation DE is even willing to entertain, but they're definitely going to be receptive to enough pressure about fixing and solving the core issues with Umbra as a practical alternative. I think that's just the reality of it. This build is a great example of where you cannot run this without losing out on, like, and the problem too is Prime Shirt-Footed if you pull off Prime Shirt-Footed and don't have knockdown immunity on this build, it is unusable, because this explosion from Contagion is a knockback. So you would be constantly triggering this. Like, I have to remember to talk about that when I make a video about it. Like, I could probably even demonstrate that very easily. Like, if you remove Prime Shirt-Footed from this, or you don't have knockdown immunity, this is miserable. And then if you were popping in and out of Operator, you would lose Warcry. So unless you just didn't use Warcry, you'd be running into problems here. Like, you could run this with Unaru. Very slight difference to this build that you could do on Umbra, but you wouldn't be able to run this exact build. There's too many compromises you'd have to make with this build exactly to run it on Umbra or on base Excalibur, because this is reliant on you getting enough armor from a few sources here, from multiplicative sources. So you just simply can't replicate this build. Oh boy, let's just take a bunch of damage. It's taking a lot of damage, wow. Surprised this thing hasn't blown up yet. Alright, how's the stream health going? Not great. I'll have to test some things after I finish the stream and make sure it's not an issue with my modem or something. My modem is only like a year old. I did have to replace it after about 4 or 5 years with basically the same model, where I ran into upload issues, specifically upload issues. This case, it's actually both, but given the current weather in my area, I could see there being an actual issue here. Okay, good. Yeah, I think the bitrate is just enough. Like, whatever issue at my ISP that's... or within my modem is at least not significant enough to cause bitrate issues. Yeah, it looks like it's even back to speed test. I should probably just keep that up and run it a few times. I don't like running into these issues as someone who actually has spent technically 7 years working IT in a previous life of mine. So running into issues with networking kind of sucks from my perspective because I feel like I should be able to fix it. $154 million. Okay, that's a big number. Someone's giving me some extra damage here. What are we getting? Yeah. Well, I just ran a speed test, so I'm wondering if that's enough loss in bitrate to actually cause an issue. So maybe I close down some of these things that I'm running. Like maybe I do this. Like on my tablet, I'm running the one I use to see the chat. I'm running it at a at 1080p full quality. And maybe if there is a limitation here, I should just not be running a full stream. Even though that's download, not upload, so it really shouldn't matter. Since the stream health is based on upload. Yeah, look at the damage from this. It's insane. We're gonna do, I think this does enough damage to actually do some pretty crazy stuff. Okay, never mind. That's some fake news right there. Nice. OG Contagion, really good at killing these bosses. I think that's usually been the case. Lephantis is usually a test that I run to... Let me see. Stream quality poor. It's annoying. Let me make sure there's nothing else in the background doing some crazy uploads that's causing issues. Nope, just OBS. Alright, what I want to do here, I'm going to hop in Lephantis real quick and show you. So this is one of the tests that I run. When I test builds, this is something I'll actually do to see how good it is. And Contagion... Yeah, no, there's not any packet loss to my ISP. It's actually just low bandwidth. Like it's just not, it's insufficient upload. So like instead of having gigabit, which I normally get reliable gigabit, I'm getting like 10 to 20 megabit on both uploads and downloads. So I'm wondering if there is an actual issue with my ISP right now that's causing that. I wouldn't be surprised right now. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some damage to power lines and things right now. And things that carry fiber optics, that kind of stuff. I usually don't do the whole Lephantis fight here. I'll usually do enough to gauge off of the heads. Ooh, Juggernaut. Great test to run here too.
The Juggernaut, I think you made it angry. Good work. Be wary. The creature has grown unfathomably strong.
Okay. That was a big hit, apparently. Let me get some Furious Javelin stacks here. We'll see how well this does against Levantus. Which it looks like things are pretty bad again. Oh my goodness, that's annoying. That's pretty good. It's not one-shotting it, but it's getting pretty close.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.